It's locked.
We'll have a word in my office later, Jonathan. I'm sorry, Jonathan. Mr. Hampton needs me right now. It's okay, Jonathan. I'll see you later. We'll have a word in my office later, Jonathan.
Come on, you bastard! You can do better than that! Now, it's my turn!
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Bastard, give me a good poke. Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
It's locked, all right. It's locked.
Ah!
Spot one, fire!
I cannot enter.
Rangers are attacking me! Damn strangers are attacking me!
This is Braille. I need someone who can read this.
What happened? Who are you?
It's all right, sir. You're safe now.
Oh, a fellow Englishman. Thank you, sir. For a moment, I thought those bloody heathens had killed me.
What are you doing here? This place is not safe.
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to collect some overdue rent, but those who still live here have gone completely bonkers.
You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, filthy immigrants. Fucking savages, every one of them. And now with this bloody fever, they're just animals.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick and cautious, you'll be able to avoid the savages.
I'm too low level. Just need to go do the regular mission. But I like a challenge. Fuck it. Maybe they'll fall with me this time instead of staying in this room. Oh man, that's not good. I'm down here. Man, come on. keep getting health whenever they fight me. Shit. Nah, man. I need to go back. I'm gonna save this dude. It says he's not gonna survive the night.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
This guy's back again. Level 14. Yeah, he's strong enough. I need to find a bed, it says, so I can level up. Suffering is part of the immortal condition. The pain will never stop.
It's locked, all right.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's
Hear yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Of course I wouldn't have enough. So... $17. I'll be back.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially for...
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive?
We are all volunteers here.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet.
Brilliant professionals, most of them.
Most of them.
It would be inappropriate.
Is there anyone that's...
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some...
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end...
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Another night with the glorious battalion of Pembroke.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye, Milton. Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Damn. The pain.
It's locked.
Not now.
It's locked, all right. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. The flower's dying. It needs water. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now. plan to stay here until my research is complete. I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Hurry now, Doctor. It's freezing here.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way, then. Thank you, nurse.
Yes, Doctor?
Exactly how bad?
It really depends. Doctor...
Please, could you point me...
It's the large board...
Why then do you all...
At the Pembroke, we're all...
Your dedication...
We staff get our sleep when we can.
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always...
London's trenches start here at Pembroke.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane. Thank you.
There's one of them vermin!
I have this thirst for blood. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody. I cannot enter. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. It's locked, all right. This key will surely grant me access to the basement. I cannot enter. These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. I thought after all. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd bet... to look into this. It's locked. Skulls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
It's a good thing I'm immortal. Because these loading screens are fucking killer.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
This hospital seems to be falling apart.
Good
But in
evening.
the circumstances,
I'm Dr.
I'm
Reed.
willing to give you-
Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful is your throat?
So painful.
I'll let you get some rest.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who...
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother...
What can you tell me about your...
Not much to say. Just take...
Are you really that rich?
Yes. Thanks to my husband. May he rest.
May I ask if you have an occupation?
I'm a teacher by profession.
What do you think of your reception here?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
I have to go now, sir.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Idiot.
Good evening, sir.
I don't know if a third opinion is needed.
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his
I was more curious about what you were doing.
I'm a carpenter.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing.
Strickland and Aykroyd.
What do you mean?
I often had professional...
Are you satisfied?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a...
I won't lie to you.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Doctor?
In other circumstances, you would be right. Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see...
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me...
Good evening, Doctor. I believe...
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of... I am Thoreau Strickland. Doctor...
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work.
What made you choose to be...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific...
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible...
I based my technique on my mentor's...
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's...
As long as you're cautious and methodical.
You're not the first one to warn me. But I...
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with...
You seem quite optimistic.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test.
Questions remain about our...
True.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh, no, Dr. Reed.
I see. Well, give me the... Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement...
I agree. But that does not excuse...
Do you think keeping his distance...
All I know is that I'm taking care of human...
Tell me, Mr. Fiddick.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed...
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel.
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient.
It's only a cover. To hide.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white.
I see. Don't worry.
Thank you, mortal, but do not interfere with them.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I wish I could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with the fever.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
Good evening, sir.
Unless you're here to fix my face.
I'm Dr. Reed.
You guessed right, Doctor.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke.
You don't seem worried.
My face hurts so much more when I...
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay here and just be forgotten.
Tell me.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. The bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Why do you feel
I wasn't.
How is your stay with her?
Oh, it's...
Can I ask?
It's the...
Where were you stationed, sir?
I really don't want to...
No offense. I was...
You were an officer, weren't you?
How close are you to Miss Hallcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my...
Aren't you afraid?
She's quite harmless.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
But the suffering continues.
Every street corner.
It's locked. Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Well, it's a euphemism that...
How would you describe...
It's serious.
You must get...
Sorry.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu...
I wish I could believe you.
How long have...
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic...
You'd be surprised what... How is the Pembroke stuff?
Well, not well. Milton the...
Why is Milton grumpy?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about...
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be.
Fear and disgust on every street.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed.
Does my arrival...
Let us just say that I don't particularly...
If you have a problem...
Dr. Swansea has imposed...
I know we've never...
Oh, but I have heard about...
You are going to change your...
I don't think so.
Since your tenure in this hospital...
Let's just say I'm tired.
Carelessness.
We're here to save lives.
I don't intend to run any...
Modern medical methods were created through...
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure. but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that you're right?
Rivalry? I guess you could...
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fid...
I really hope you're right about this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs...
I don't know what you've heard about me.
I don't question your skills, Doc.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you.
Be careful what you insist.
I only want you to admit you used...
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion...
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people.
It seems you have...
I refuse to see...
We can at least agree on... Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm.
I cannot express my thrill at this...
It may seem strange.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of you.
There is no need to apologize.
Very well. I have a task.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity...
A spokesman or politician.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan.
And you would like me to...
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you...
Accepted.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have to...
Then ask away.
You mentioned some...
Certainly.
That explains...
I feel it wasn't mere...
Yet you don't...
The Brotherhood has stuck...
Since you seem quite the expert...
As men of science, our first...
The sun.
You will find there is very little.
Must I...
You are a vampire.
Since I'm the one working for you...
Well, for many years, we have been the only...
Where do we stand
to... To be honest, we cope on a day-to-day...
What do you expect of me?
What we need...
The man we pursued and slew in the...
He was a Skald, technically speaking.
Where do...
The name means slave.
Just for clarity.
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Yeah, I hear you. You gotta talk to them, like get hints and stuff, like all. But yeah, that shit kind of gets annoying for sure. But I mean, it's just because I'm here in this first little level area. You just want to talk to everybody, but I mean, you don't really have to. You can go out and fuck shit up. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna take a break though, bro.